Welcome back to another AR12 car vlog where today we're installing my new Subaru STI Exhaust. In the last video I made on this car where we installed the Subaru STI skid plate on this thing, where I definitely didn't put a massive hole in my floor. Well, with your guys' help, not only did I find what I think is the best Subaru STI exhaust, but I also found an amazing shop up here in Canada with some really good prices. So let's just say we're going to be doing more mods to this Subaru in the future. So what do I think is the best Subaru STI exhaust? None other than the Invidia Q300. No, that's not a GPU actually. And yes, if you've been around the channel for a little while, it is the exact same exhaust that I had on my old Subaru STI. I loved it so much, I actually went out and got another one. It's actually a really good exhaust for a couple of different reasons. Number one, right off the bat, it's fairly priced. As with any sort of exhaust, you can go crazy, you can go super cheap, but I've always found Invidia has had some really good products for the price. And number two, and maybe even more importantly than the price, is the sound. It comes with that awesome boxer rumble that I'm sure you're used to for Subarus, but it doesn't go over the top and drone out your cabin. At the end of the day, right, this Subaru STI is actually my daily driver, so I don't want an exhaust that's completely over the top and just blows your ears out even when you're just cruising on the highway. And number three, it has blue tips, so what more do you really need from an exhaust? Anyways though, before we start the disassembly of the Subaru STI exhaust, let's go film some before sound clips so you can hear how dull and how boring the stock exhaust is for this car, and then we can compare it with the Invidia Q300. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that the stock sound for this car is terrible. Let's get home, rip off this exhaust, let's go. Now before we do anything on the car, obviously we've got to let it cool down, because after all of that driving and revving, the exhaust is going to be super hot, and if I was to touch it now, I would destroy my hands. So while we wait for the car to cool down, let's do an unboxing of the Invidia Q300, make sure all of the parts are there, and I even want to weigh it to compare with the exhaust that's already on the car. I don't expect this to be any lighter, but let's figure it out. Also, right now on the AR12 store, the Raid keychains are currently on sale. They have free shipping anywhere in the world. So if you do want to pick one of these guys up, click the link in my description. They're a great way to support the channel by purchasing these, and it allows me to do cool things like this, so thank you. Mission number one for the Invidia Q300 was to get this thing out of the box and make sure all of our parts were there, because this time things are a little bit different than they were on my old Subaru from back in the day. Or I should say, at least I think they're a little bit different this time around. Although the exhausts are very similar and the two cars are very similar, now the Q300 is a 3-inch diameter, and that's bigger than the 2.5-inch diameter that was on there before. So you now need this little adapter so you don't blow a hole in your exhaust. I never actually put this on my old Subaru, so if you're the new owner, I would highly suggest checking the exhaust to make sure it's still attached. And then we got the car up onto the race ramps.
We got like 4 inches. There you go.
Once the car was on the ramps, we got a beautiful view underneath. Can I just say, things are actually looking pretty good under there. Really good condition, actually. And then I came to the conclusion that I may have bit off more than I can chew. So, I think we've got a little bit of an issue. I don't think I can actually fit under the STI with the race ramps. I don't think it's high enough. So we're at the back of the Subaru, it's on the race ramps, and I'll show you the issue that I'm having. So we've got muffler and we've got muffler. These are bolted over here and over here. Those are no problem. I could literally reach over and grab them. No problem at all. The issue is those are bolted to this Y pipe, which then goes all the way down through the front of the car and bolts up, camera, thank you, all the way over there. If you come to the side of the car, you can actually see those bolts a little bit better. They are just over there. That kind of gives you an idea of how far forward it is and how little room there is to do anything. So instead of struggling to squeeze under the STI and struggling to put the exhaust on, I'm gonna make my life 1,000 times easier. This is gonna be a lot easier now. Oh yeah. Bye car, have fun. Yes, I did pay somebody a bunch of money to do up 8 bolts for me. Meanwhile, I enjoyed an ice cream. Eventually the exhaust was done though. Much better. And just like that, the brand new Subaru STI Exhaust is installed. I still have all of my fingers, and more importantly, I wasn't crushed by my own car. Right now though, I want to get home, I want to do a quick sound comparison. We'll do 3 tests, a warm start, 3K revs, and 5K revs. Yeah, I think we can all agree that this exhaust sounds 1,000 times better, but even more importantly than that, when you're driving, a drastic difference. You can see what I mean now when I say you can finally hear that Subaru rumble out of your car with this exhaust. And you can also hear while I'm driving around right now, I'm in 6th gear, I'm doing 2,500 revs, and this thing isn't loud at all. It is totally comfortable, exactly what I wanted out of a daily driver exhaust, the perfect exhaust. Obviously, the Q300 exhaust isn't the loudest exhaust out there. You can definitely get some louder ones. Invidia actually makes another exhaust called the R400. It doesn't have those massive mufflers like my Q300 does. However, I was reading some reviews online, and a lot of people were saying that it got really bad drone, and that's what I wanted to avoid at all costs. That's why I went with the Q300 instead. Anyways though, I also want to do a quick comparison for the weight of the 2 exhausts. Which one's actually lighter? So I don't know if anybody else does this, but the way I was actually going to weigh this exhaust is I weighed myself, then picked up each piece of the exhaust individually, and then subtracted it, did a little bit of math, and was able to figure out the weight of both the stock exhaust and the Invidia Q300. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm kind of yelling at the camera to hear all of the different weights. I don't actually know if the old exhaust or the new exhaust is later, so cut to future me after I've done some math. Editor Nick here, and I've done the math, and the new exhaust is actually heavier than the old one, which might surprise some of you. However, it does actually make a lot of sense. The old exhaust was a lot smaller than the new one. It was a 2.5-inch diameter, and the new one is a 3-inch diameter, so that's a lot more metal that you actually have on your car. So there you go. I really wasn't expecting that, but it does make a lot of sense, so there you go, the more you know. What's sometimes kind of forgotten about swapping the exhaust on your car is you can actually take the old exhaust for your car and actually sell it on, because these are worth a lot of money. So if you're like me and you pay somebody to install your exhaust for you, selling this will 100% cover that cost, which is super good, and even save you money on your new exhaust. So there's a top tip. Always keep your old exhaust because you can sell it and make some money with it, which is always good. So there you go, our brand new Subaru STI Exhaust is installed. The Invidia Q300 is a dream. I love this exhaust, it is perfect. Speaking of upgrades for the Subaru STI, I have already ordered some fantastic winter tires for this car, and I'm currently on the hunt for our winter rims as well. I'm super excited. Wheels are one of the easiest ways and probably the best way to transform your car. They are gonna look super cool when I eventually pick which ones I want. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me on my journey as I paid somebody a bunch of money to do up 8 bolts to install the perfect exhaust for this car. Hey, at least I was able to enjoy an ice cream. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. Coming up very soon is gonna be part 3 of building the ultimate garage. Subscribe if you want to see that. I'll see you guys soon. See you then. Bye.